My name is John Fleming.
Good morning.
And what I would like to say is that I'm a veteran, I'm disabled, I'm blind, and I live on a fixed income, and I can barely afford to buy my tickets for my ride, for my transportation as it is. I'm disabled, I can't drive, and if the prices of fares go up, that's going to make it so that I won't be able to even use the TriMet Lift program. It's not safe for me to not use the program, and with the fare increase, I'm not going to be able to even do that. And the service as it is needs a lot of improvement. I'm very often on the TriMet Lift program. I'm late to my doctor appointments, and it seems to me that without making the service better, there shouldn't have a price increase in the fares. That's all I need to say.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Darian Fleming, Slayton Fleming. I'm a Portland native. I've used the TriMet Lift system since the early 80s. Early on I used buses more than the Lyft. And so I experienced both perspectives. I want to talk to the financial aspect of the fare increase, the impact it would have on people with disabilities. We are on fixed incomes. You may know that that we just now got our first cost of living increase after 2 or 3 years of no cost of living increases, and it's not enough. It doesn't meet the gap. We can't. John and I are married. We barely have enough money to pay our bills and our current transportation costs. We have to budget our rides. We have to think ahead about how many rides we think we might need for the month and whether or not we can afford a pass or we need to get a punch card. And I've been unemployed for 2.5 years. I'd rather be paying into the tax system and supporting your service, but if I can't afford my rides to go to job interviews, I won't be able to go back to work. Secondly, I want to talk about safety. I ride the Lyft even though it's not always convenient for me because it's safer in the long run. I've had falls on transit platforms when I've taken the bus en masse. I have fallen on max because even though there's signage telling people that the disabled seating is reserved for us, when you get on and you have to ask people to move, and they look around for a seat and they take their time gathering their packages and don't move, the max takes off and I'm still standing and I can't get to my seat and I fall. And I actually have cost TriMet money because at least one of those falls you had to pay me because I wasn't able to get to a seat. So if we are required to take TriMet and we start getting injured, and more of us, that's going to cost you money in the long run, more than what you will get by increasing fares. I finally want to say that people, whether you're disabled or not, your quality of life is impacted by whether or not you can get out of the house. If you stay at home and you don't move, you start to lay around in your bed and your health declines. We are socially and spiritually and physically and mentally more healthy if we can be involved in our communities. And if we can't get out and have friendships and activities because we can't afford the fares, then our health will decline and we will become a burden to society in other ways. And you who are working will end up paying for that in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker, Michael, will you come up, please, with Ron? Thank you.
Presuming Michael Levine.
Yes, thank you.
On the right.
Thank you for your time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Chair and members of the board. I come as a newly diagnosed disabled person, and this greatly concerns me. I'm going to try to speak fast to get the information covered. I appreciate what we're talking about here, and I forgot to bring my two pies, the little 4-inch single pie and the pie, nice 24-inch pie that most people appreciate. And it is so very true. Now living on a set income, we have to live life differently. We don't have the luxuries to do, what the general public, what each of you, Mr. McFarland, are able to do on any given day. That is to be able to, go out when you want to, do what you want to, appreciate life like you want to. We have to start making decisions that limit our ability. Like the previous lady said, it affects us in every realm of our life, financially, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and on and on. Fortunately, I can still go out, and I can contribute to society in a productive way, and I'm thankful for that. But on the other hand, if our pie never grows, except for this year, it grew by a few more crumbs, your pie, each one of you, look in your hearts and ask yourself, when was the last time your pie did not grow? It grows every year, and it allows you more opportunity, to appreciate life and doing things, So, how do we, find sufficient funds, to allow us to do the things that are not only wishful but necessary for health care, spiritual care, recreational care, and just being able to appreciate life, When did any person on this board, including you, Mr. McFarland, ever become a prisoner to your home because you do not have funds to go out and to appreciate going to maybe a Blazer game, maybe a concert, maybe something nice, because you don't have money to do that because you're limited and somebody's going to make you pay more to be able to do that. That is not fair. You talked about fairness earlier. What is fair? I don't know if you know the definition in any way on any member of this board. We talked about a lot of things earlier about net assets up 3.5%, growth works up $400 million, unrestricted, whatever that means, $600 million in funds, reserves and hedging funds, $24 million in capital projects. Your APR is up 0.2, which is up more than 0.1, which you're thinking is good. What do we have? Nothing. We have nothing. And you're talking about all these funds, where are they at? Why aren't they, being used for something more productive than making the poor of us lose life and not have it? We're prisoners. Ask yourself, when were you a prisoner? I don't know that you were. The last thing I want to briefly mention is the whole condition of the TriMet system. It's dirty, it's smelly. We have drivers out there that yell at their ridership, and accordingly to records have multiple, over 100 and some citations about bad behavior, yet they're allowed to drive. I lost my nursing license because I had an anger issue. It's here. This driver was out there harassing and harming people because she had an anger issue and yet was allowed to drive. It doesn't make sense. TriMet doesn't make sense. Look in your hearts. What is fair? You want to
Thank you, Mr. Lapp. Appreciate your time. Mr. Levine.